The blood of exceptionally long-lived people reveals crucial differences. Centenarians, once considered rare, have become commonplace, and indeed they are the fastest growing demographic group of the world's population, with numbers roughly doubling every 10 years since the 1970s. How long humans can live and what determines a long and healthy life have been of interest for as long as we know. Plato and Aristotle, the ancient Greeks, discussed and wrote about the aging process over 2,300 years ago. The pursuit of understanding the secrets behind exceptionally longevity is not easy. It involves unraveling the complex interplay of genetic predisposition and lifestyle factors and how they interact throughout a person's life. And now our recent study, published in Geroscience, has unveiled some common biomarkers, including levels of cholesterol and glucose in people who live past 90. Non-genarians and centenarians have long been of intense interest to scientists, as they may help us understand how to live longer and perhaps also how to age in better health. So far, studies of centenarians have often been small-scale and focused on a selected group, for example, excluding centenarians who live in care homes. Huge data set. Ours is the largest study compared biomarker profiles measured throughout life among exceptional long-lived people and their shorter-lived peers to date. We compared the biomarker profiles of people who went to live on past the age of 100 and their shorter-lived peers, and investigated the link between the profiles and the chance of becoming a centenarian. Our research included data from 44,000 Swedes who underwent health assessments at age 64 to 99. They were a sample of the so-called Amaris cohort. These participants were then followed through Swedish registered data for up to 35 years. Of these people, 1,224, or 2.7%, lived to be 100 years old. The vast majority, 85% of the centenarians, were female. 12 blood test biomarkers related to inflammation, metabolism, liver and kidney function, as well as potential malnutrition and anemia, were included. All of these have been associated with aging or mortality in previous studies. The biomarker related to inflammation was uric acid, a waste product in the body caused by the digestion of certain foods. We also looked at markers linked to metabolic status and function, including total cholesterol and glucose, and ones related to liver function, such as alanine aminotransferase ALAT, aspartate aminotransferase ASAT, albumin gamma glutamine transferase GGT, alkaline phosphatase ALP, and lactate dehydrogenase LD. We also looked at creatinine, which is linked to kidney function, and iron and total iron binding capacity, TIBC, which is linked to anemia. And finally, we also investigated albumin, the biomarker associated with nutrition. The findings? We found that, on the whole, those who made it to their 100th birthday tended to have lower levels of glucose, creatinine, and uric acid from their 60s onwards. Although the median values did not differ significantly between centenarians and non-centenarians for most biomarkers, centenarians seldom displayed extremely high or low values. For example, very few of the centenarians had a glucose level above 6.5 mmol per liter earlier in life, and a creatinine level above 125 mol per liter. For many of the biomarkers, both centenarians and non-centenarians had values outside of the range considered normal in clinical guidelines. This is probably because these guidelines are set based on a younger and healthier population. When exploring which biomarkers were linked to the likelihood of reaching 100, we found that all but two, ALAT and albumin, of the 12 biomarkers showed a connection to the likelihood of turning 100. This was even after accounting for age, sex, and disease burden. The people with the lowest out of the 5 groups for a level of total cholesterol and iron had a lower chance of reaching 100 years as compared to those with higher levels. Meanwhile, people with higher levels of glucose, creatinine, uric acid, and markers for liver function also decrease the chance of becoming a centenarian. In absolute terms, the differences were rather small for some of the biomarkers, while for others the differences were somewhat more substantial. For uric acid, for instance, the absolute difference was 2.5 percentage points. This means that people in the group with the lowest uric acid had a 4% chance of turning 100, while the group with the highest uric acid levels, only 1.5% made it to the age of 100. Even if the differences we discovered were overall rather small, they suggest a potential link between metabolic health, nutrition, and exceptional longevity. The study, however, does not allow any conclusions about which lifestyle factors or genes are responsible for the biomarker values. However, it is reasonable to think that factors such as nutrition and alcohol intake play a role. Keeping track of your kidney and liver values as well as glucose and uric acid as you get older is probably not a bad idea. And that said, chance probability plays a role at some point in reaching an exceptional age, but the fact that differences in biomarkers could be observed a long time before death suggests that genes and lifestyle may also play a role. This is from the conversation here under Creative Commons. It's by Karen Modig, Associate Professor, Epidemiology, Karolinska Institute, on Science Alert. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.